GM, everybody. Monday morning, migration, summer, kicking off. Fun community. We're here with MUMU. We're going to give it a few minutes while everyone is coming and pouring in. Got already about 50 people on the video live stream, which I'll pin to the top. Some people prefer watching. Also a bunch of people here in the spaces. We're off to a hot start already with 3% of the MUMU token supply has been migrated. That's really good for an OG project that's quite decentralized. 150 people signed up for the spaces. So we'll get started here in a minute. But Adam, how was the weekend? How you feeling?
Man, we're excited about this build product coming out on Wednesday. Anybody who doesn't know, Migrate Fund's kind of parent company, Emblem Vault, has a pretty sick AI product, and on Wednesday you're going to be able to build basically crypto native apps with it. So yeah, we're psyched. Wednesday is coming. TikTok, man, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been building a betting platform the last 2 weeks. Super fun. I know we were talking with the MUMU team about using it, as well as some other meme coin communities have reached out. Basically, it's just a vibe coding platform for Solana apps. So a lot of cool opportunities there. Chris, how are we feeling?
Yo, good morning, Bulls, baby. Good morning, Bulls. Yeah, so Emblem build coming out on Wednesday. Everybody's been kicking the tires. This thing is crazy to build with. It's so much fun. And it's just really kind of like the next evolution of where crypto needs to go. We're an industry that has no applications, and it feels like people like me, Adam, Jake, we can all just build apps in a day. Obviously, you need extra security precautions and things like that, but you really can spin up games, any type of dashboards, any type of pretty advanced crypto applications in mere hours, and then kind of just spend the rest of the time refining it and kind of kicking it off. But Emblem just continues to build, which is perfect for the next meta, which is Emblem build.
I mean, when you think about it, if you have a winning crypto app, right, you're at least a decamillionaire and potentially 100 or even up to a billy. If you're, I mean, it's just, it's super difficult to do, obviously, but if you do it, it's a home run like almost no other space until AI came along. I would say is no other space. AI is maybe taking it over, but crypto still is super bullish. If you build something that people love, you're going to make a shit ton of money. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. So space is doing good. The community is hot. MUMU team is on stage. Also, anybody who's listening or watching, feel free to post questions. If you're on the live stream, just go ahead and post in the comments. If you're listening on Spaces, that purple button in the bottom right-hand corner, go ahead and post some questions. Or if you're in one of MUMU's TG channels, which you should join, go ahead and post some questions there, and we'll make sure that we cover everything. Migrations, I guess you would say still somewhat new. I mean, we've had the platform now for 8 months, 7 months. We've migrated 75 teams. We've spoken with hundreds, and the season just continues to kick off larger and larger and larger. Lots of opportunities. We'll try to cover everything from how the migration works, which we did just pin up to the top. The MUMU team just posted. So make sure you do repost that if you are in the MUMU community. How to use, shows you how to migrate. Takes 10 seconds to do. Super quick process. We'll cover all of the Q&As from, why would somebody migrate? How do you claim afterwards? What's to look forward to on Pump? And pretty much everything and far in between. So without further ado, we do have the MUMU account coming back on stage. But whether it's MUMU or Trancy, how are we feeling?
Feeling good. Just getting some new posts out, getting everyone sorted right before, there's already some questions about, like, what are you going to get as a receipt? There's like an MFT. It's not visible like directly from your Phantom wallet, but there is a receipt that you can see from the website. That should be fine.
Let me get on that. I think it's good we actually clarify all these kind of any issues people are having, and I'll pin up top the kind of how-tos, because we've done how-tos for all this. If you're not seeing if you've done the migration and you got that kind of end screen and you're not seeing it in your wallet, Phantom, Soulflare, it's very likely it's just hiding the token. And in all those wallets, if you click on your token and then click on like the 3 dots or the burger menu in the top right hand corner and click
Just pinned it to the top as well.
Yeah, you can just go in there. The MFT is probably just grayed out. You just got to click that little toggle and it'll show in your wallet. Very common. That happens with kind of any tokens, can happen. I didn't see it this morning when I did the how-to video and stuff. But if that does happen to you and you can't see the MFTs, that's the solution. They're in your wallet. They're hidden.
Yeah, Phantom and some of the wallets will hide valueless tokens. We're actually in the process of getting integrated with things like rug check and holder scan and a lot of these tools. It is a really big grind to get this stuff integrated. It's like we have the audits and everything, but there's a lot of like social proof and validation that gets to be integrated in these things, lots of conversations. So until that like full integration point happens, they will be auto hidden. Basically, what's an MFT? We call it a migrate fund token. It's just a placeholder. It is an on-chain asset like an SPL token, so you can transfer it around. It is appropriate to the amount of tokens that you'll be claiming. As MUMU is moving from 2.4 trillion supply down to 1 billion, essentially just for simplicity, right? It's about 2,400 to 1. So you turn in about 2,400 of your old tokens. You get one MUMU MFT, and that will represent one of the new token. Why do we do this? Technical reasons is the biggest one. You don't want to launch the token while the migration's ongoing, because if you give people the tokens, somebody's just going to go set up a rogue LP, and then they basically get to determine what the market cap is, and we do not. So there's a lot of technical reasons to do this. But if you have your MFT, you can pass it around to whatever wallet that you want to claim. I know some users who do migrate will transfer the MFT to like a clean wallet so that it breaks some of the like on-chain tracking, so that they do it for privacy reasons or obfuscation or whatever the reason is. So you can transfer around the MFTs. And then on June 8th, so a week from today, when the migration ends, we'll be relaunching the new token with the MUMU team. It's a pretty quick process, but the Migrate Fund platform is non-custodial, which means that the migrating team has to sign for everything on the back end. We've made it pretty simple. There's like actually a creator dashboard that we're going to be launching this week after finally 9 months. Up until this point, Migrate Fund has been a private platform, which means that every team who has migrated has to go through us and has to be vetted and basically walked through. But in the next week, by the end of the week, anybody will be able to go set up a migration. So the MUMU team used our dashboard. They thought it was really good, and we've been kind of really iterating on it for the last 9 months or so. It's been quite complicated, but really almost there. So to summarize, MFT, Migrate Fund Token, it's a placeholder. Hold that. That's what you're going to come back to and use. You're going to turn it in for the new MUMU token when it relaunches on Pump next Monday. Go ahead, Trancy.
That's not Trancy.
No,
Some of you guys
what's
know
up,
me
Brad?
as MUMU Winter, and some of you know me as Meech. I just wanted to ask you guys, how many other tokens have you done this for? I already know the answer, but for the audience.
We've completed, you guys will be the 76th migration that we have completed. About, I'd say maybe 50 or so. I don't have it off the top of my head, but about 50 of them have migrated to Pump. When we first launched the platform in October of last year, we did 16 migrations to Bong Fund and Radium. And that's where kind of all the interest was. And then once Pump Fund released their creator reward system, it's been like a complete 180 where everyone wants to go to Pump. And that is like the main reason for teams who want to migrate is creator rewards. Although, as we know, especially in the meme coin space, the attention can change quite rapidly. What's up, Chris, who says hello on the live stream? Attention can change quite rapidly. So we do get a lot of requests about integrating different launchpads. And, you know, as Migrate Fund, we remain a neutral migration platform. Our goal is to really just help the migrating team move to a better situation wherever they'd like. So we all the teams that come into us are all either referrals or reach outs. We really don't have to do any extended marketing. The product kind of sells itself, but
Yeah, absolutely.
75 migrations, about 50 or so to pump. We've done about 10 or 15 to Radium. We've done about 10 or 15 to Bonk. We've done about 10 or 15 to Meteora.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, a lot of people I've talked to about you guys have spoken highly of you. So
Appreciate that.
definitely getting good traction on that side at least.
Yeah, appreciate that. Well, I do want to dive through a little bit of, the history of MUMU. I think it's really important, and then lead into, why are we migrating? And again, I pinned up to the top the announcement from the MUMU team. They've done an incredible job, from the website to the multiple articles to the thread, and have been really engaging groups. Like, really kind of one of the best implementations I've seen of a migration strategy. So I do just want to say, hats off to the MUMU team, really putting a lot of thought into it as we hit 3.1% of the migration. One final note here, since we are here in the beginning, CoinEx announced the support of MUMU migration. We are also in conversation with Mexi, who's going to support it as well, and put out an announcement. And then we're waiting on a review from KCEX, KCEX, about supporting the migration, but for sure confirmed, if you have MUMU tokens on CoinEx or Mexi, then those tokens will be migrated for you. During the claim period, how it works for exchanges is they wait until the migrations actually ends. And we have a specific exchange portal that we've built just for the exchanges, because they do not want to participate on chain. You kind of have to follow their procedures. So once the claim period opens, beginning on next week on the 8th, we basically go to the exchanges. They have kind of their own procedures that they undergo in terms of like auditing the CA and getting everything prepared. And it generally takes about 1 to 2 weeks from the exchange side of things to complete the contract swap, replace the ticker, and then airdrop it to the users. So just keep that in mind if you're trading on Mexi. You could be waiting a week or two from when the migration ends. And if you don't want to wait, then pull it off the exchange and then migrate it through the website on chain. That'll always be the fastest method. But if it's a little bit too confusing for you and you just want to keep it on Mexi, then it will be handled for you. It just may be at a slower pace than what the rest of the market's doing. But moving into the history of MUMU, let's just kick it off from the top. So either of you tell us, how was MUMU, created? Obviously, it's one of the OG meme coins. And then, just give us a little bit about information on the community and history.
Trance, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I guess I'll take it.
Mhm.
So back in 2024, we actually started planning MUMU in 2023. There's a token that migrated before called Bobo, which he's the patron saint of bear markets. And Bobo and MUMU were the second iteration by an artist named Apua Justa, who was very popular on 4chan in 2017-18. Back then, he popularized a meme called Pepe. And so the second version memes he did were called MUMU and Bobo, that represented the bulls and the bears. And so it's been an ongoing financial market meme since 2017, 2018, as this iteration of Pepe and Bobo and the Pepe verse of representing bulls versus bears. And there's also other characters in the same universe that we don't really need to talk about. But we launched in March 2024, airdropping 20 to 25% of the supply to the Solana community. We were one of the first big airdrop launches after Bonk, which was our big inspiration for the launching it that way. And it came right after there was like a couple other big launches like Myro, Popcat, Whiff that started trend, Ponke, I think. And so we were like the fourth or fifth token that hit like 10, 20 mil in the meme coin cycle. And this is pre-pump fund, mind you. So like people back then, they were skeptical of every launch because it could rug. Like you had to burn this liquidity pool token. And I even remember we launched it and it was the day that Bobo went to like 150 mil or something, and so everyone was looking for a MUMU to spine. Ours had it like launched straight to like 4 mil, and we hadn't even burned the LP token yet for like a day, and everyone was like, "Oh, what? Are you guys gonna rug there? The LP's not burned, blah blah blah." And it was kind of a yeah, it was.
I didn't even have the contract address.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was all secret kind of at the time because we weren't even sure. But anyways, we started pushing it after the airdrop. The airdrop actually showed that at the time, since we airdropped NFT holders of big NFTs, like 88% of those holders had held the MUMU token afterwards for like 6+ months. And we ended up growing the community to like 70, 80,000 holders. We partnered with, we were one of the first tokens to partner with Solana Foundation. I think we were the second token to launch a validator, and then totally tweeted about us. And then we've been participating at breakpoints and all types of other events since then. The guys on the team are Solana OGs. Myself actually won Breakpoint in 2021 with a team called Portals and built some games. Then like some other guys have been just in the NFT OG space for a long time, and it's pretty much like I would say the core of the community is guys that have been on Solana since before 2024, which is kind of cool. So you'll if you've been from the Solana NFT world pre meme coins, there's a lot of hardcore OGs that are still around from that.
Yeah, the meme space in Solana is quite competitive. It does seem like a lot of the OG memes are now moving over to migrate to Pump for a lot of different reasons. As I'm here, kind of scrolling along the website, you had again done a really good job in identifying, why to migrate. But for those who are listening, would you like to go in and explain the main reasons of your decision behind moving over to Pump?
The main reasons is because our liquidity is so thick. If you look at we'll have like 600, 700,000 liquidity for a $3 million token, which is meaning you'd have to get another $1 million if we're even gonna break like 10 million, I think, which is it's unheard of because like on Pump Fund, if you had $1 million in liquidity, you'd be cruising closer to 100 million or market cap, something like that. So it's normal for it to be like 10-1. I think at the when we launched it, we was like 20-1 in terms of market cap to liquidity ratio. But that original swap fee from Bradium,
it was 6%. It was 6% when we launched.
Well, I don't care. Well, I'm just saying it was I'm talking about the compounding fee. We've had 2 years of this fee building up in the pool, and that's what's caused it to become so thick. And the other issue was because we were listed mostly on a lot of exchanges before, and then when they delist you, a lot of that liquidity gets put into the liquidity pool, and that kind of extra pads it. Because if you've seen other OG tokens, I've talked to Giga and Ponke and other people about this. It's the reason their liquidity is more spread out is because they have bigger pools on other CXs. Like I think Giga, they're the biggest coin on Coinbase. And so they don't have all their liquidity on chain like we do. And so that's caused this like, what is it called? Compounding problem where we can't even really move the token to an exciting factor when like we get $300,000 in buys and only moved like $1 million in market cap. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best marketing is green candles because people, they want to chase the candles and the upward motion. So a lot of these tokens that have thinner liquidity, they can kind of create a situation or optimize on that to, get some more motion on the chart per se.
Yeah, nothing better than number go up technology. So as as the week goes on for the migration, and then come, next week, you're over on Pump, what does the MUMU team plan to do in terms of any changes, any type of call to actions, or what I guess you should say, what is the debate going on within the community? I know you guys started a new group chat, and I've seen a lot of people talking about it. But what's the overall theme for once Mumu's made it over to Pump?
I mean, I plan to be fully involved again. I had kind of stepped away for a long time. A lot of people know me from going on spaces because we kind of created that whole narrative of just going on to spaces and just talking about current events and different things that were going on. Just kind of being an influence in the space per se. We wouldn't even chill the token on spaces. We would just kind of go up and just chat shit with people. A lot of the bigger spaces like ATP was big for us, very influential. I became very good friends with those guys. Very, very close friends at this point. Alpha Code Space, Web3 and Chill. So just kind of being more active again is kind of my idea. Obviously, they've been posting memes on the other side. We have a few different people there on the account, including Trancy. So doing all that stuff and just being active and just kind of like pushing along as we go.
Yeah, I think we've seen that a bunch with certainly meme coin tokens and migrations. Is just this idea of like, look, we're going to give it another run here. This is our second kind of second season, if you will. And you know, the migration kind of coalesces the community. And for anybody who's listening, and maybe this is your first migration you've gone through with a project using Migrate Fund, of course it wakens up everybody. Hey, go migrate your tokens. Go migrate your tokens, right? But at the end of the day, what happens is then you get this giant red candle. And everybody, obviously you guys are an OG community, everybody who hasn't been paying attention, and trust me, it's a lot of people haven't been paying attention, will see that chart go to zero and be like, what the hell? They just rugged, man, right? Come in pissed, yelling and screaming. And then it's like, no, you can still go migrate. And then they're like, holy shit, I can migrate. Holy shit, the token's live again. Holy shit, it's moving again. It just wakes up basically every single holder who's asleep right now, which is super bullish for these communities. And we've seen it many, many times. But if anybody hasn't been a part of one of these migrations, that red candle is the biggest wake up call kind of in all of crypto. So get excited for that.
Well, you know what they say, Jake. Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah. So it's me, Adam, and Chris, by the way, talking through my account. That was Adam.
Okay.
But
I just saw his mic going.
Yeah. No, you're all good. I know people get a little bit confused. I mean, if you look at some of the past migrations, specifically two that I would note is Mitchie and Bobo. When Mitchie did their migration, right, another kind of OG decentralized token, we had people reaching out to us who said they had their tokens locked in a hardware wallet. They hadn't touched it for 2-3 years, that they even forgot that they were even there. And we had to help them through the process. We completed Bobo's migration on May 4th, and we still have people reaching out to the Migrate Fund account saying, hey, I just found out that Bobo migrated. Can you help me through the process? So throughout the 90-day claim period, it's why we keep it 90 days. It generally after like 2 weeks or so, it slows down. But for some of the more decentralized coins and communities, there will be people who will follow up with the Migrate Fund account literally 2 months later after it ended because they just paid attention. And that's where you get that activation from. So Mumu and Mitchie and Bobo, you'll see a lot of these migrations, you'll get like 60-70% participating in the beginning. But for some of the more decentralized ones, you'll get 20-30-40% in that like migration window, but then you'll get another 30-40% through the 90-day claim window. So just to keep people encouraged that you don't need, not necessarily, you want everything to come through that first initial period, right? So that there's SOL that's recovered to relaunch it and such. But give it 90 days or so, or 100 days, and a lot of that stuff floods through, especially with these more OG coins.
Yeah, one thing, just a heads up for everybody who's on the space right now listening. Tons of scammers, obviously you guys all know, but just heads up, if you see anybody, hey, I'm having trouble or whatever, just tell those people to DM the Migrate Fund account directly. And you see Migrate Fund has a security badge, just like all of us on stage do. There's tons of fake Migrate Fund scammers out there. So just direct those people to DM the Migrate Fund account directly, and we'll handle all the any technical issues there. Just protect your community for us. That's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Mumu.
Oh yeah, you kind of covered everything at this point. I mean, I just think that this is going to be great for the community in general and reactivating everybody overall. I mean, if you look at the chart, you look back to it was launch day or the second day, we went to about 80 mil. It dropped down to about 10. We ranged between 10 and 20 for probably about 90 to 100 days, right, Trancy? Would you say?
Yeah,
Before it really started sending again. So regardless, we are trying to get a second go at it. I mean, I think it's probably going to go right into when things start to get frosty again. Hopefully in the fall. So let's get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other things that I'd want to bring up and cover because going to Pump Fund now we have creator fees. There is some like liquidity being locked in 30 days or 90 days, and I think we're like what we on the team on the back end has been discussing on like a more creative ways on how we reward the community with our creator fees this time, and so been working on a few different games and other ways to like earn by staking MUMU and doing some other stuff. So we're building out a new portal for it's gonna be a DeFi game is what I'm gonna call it. But we'll have some more info on that in the coming week or two before and then we'll drop the info on launch probably. But yeah, we're trying to line up some catalysts and run it back like we did before. And it's kind of fun to do that all over again. You get all your CX announcements, you get all your big KOLs that want to push something. And so we are not gonna like blow our load and do all of that up front. So just to keep the chart bullish and do things that we'll just know we'll roll it out slowly.
Yeah, and just to keep in mind as well, all of the unclaimed tokens and any like excess SOL from the relaunch is claimable by the team after the 90-day claim period. So this is the reason why a lot of meme coins or OG projects will migrate. Not only do you get creator awards, you get a new CA, you get a new chart, an opportunity to rebrand. Not in this case, but a lot of teams do take that advantage of changing the ticker or changing the image or updating the social links or kind of whatever the situation is. But any of the tokens that go unmigrated. So for example, with MUMU, they airdrop 20% of the supply. How much of that supply is actually lost or has never been moved? So you can kind of consider that to be unclaimed tokens, right? That goes back to the team after 90 days to utilize at their discretion. We've seen some teams, like I know the Mitchie team said they're burning whatever is like the unclaimed supply. Some teams have said that they're going to put the tokens in a DAO. Some use them for rewards. Most of the teams generally put it in the team treasury to decide on what to do, whether it's a meme coin kind of within the community standards or if it's, like a utility token, then they come up with some sort of, incentive system. On top of that, these are specifically tokens that relaunch to Pump Fund and to launch pads with bonding curves. Since you are relaunching and it's a fresh token, to get to, we'll say like a $3 million market cap in MUMU's case, or let's say it runs to 5 or 10 million. I think to relaunch at a $10 million market cap through Pump, it's like 1,100 or 1,200 SOL. Obviously, it changes with the USD price going up and down, but just say between 1,000 and 1,400 SOL. And a lot of these tokens, MUMU has 400K or 500K liquidity pool. Not all of that will need to be used, right? So that essentially goes into the team treasury or for buybacks. The team, we have built into the Migrate Fund protocol that while that SOL is locked for 90 days, the team can actually do buybacks within the vault. But if they, choose not to, or they don't need to, after 90 days, that goes into the team treasury. So obviously there is some trust in this situation. The community's got to trust the team and believe in what they're doing. But we're going to be starting to see here over the next few weeks when some of the first memes that had migrated over to Pump, right? Like Mitchie, to see how they go utilize it. I know Mitchie had I think 3,000 SOL. I think Bobo was around 3,000 SOL. Because you're unlocking essentially all of those trading fees that have accrued over the last few years. So it is really exciting. There's a lot of strategy that goes into this. And with every team that announced their migration or goes through, we see a little bit of a different variation on how these teams are approaching it. And then obviously you're in the pump ecosystem where it seems like all the memes are migrating to. And so I think you could probably see this kind of complementary effect the more that move over there as they all kind of build the energy off of each other.
Yeah, correct. And pump fund is where the liquidity is, despite if anyone wants to say anything or not about their kind of monopoly sort of in some of the meme space. But you end up getting a pump tweet or an Elon tweet or some kind of interaction with their eco, and then we, on our case, will have X amount of SOL already for injecting and for causing volume spikes and all whatnot. We were actually pretty known for doing this. Like most of the catalyst pump playbook was some of the stuff that we did first before a lot of people on Sol did, other tokens did. And so I would expect MUMU to start pumping and going violently like it used to, because I think what people used to tell me back in the day was a lot of guys would buy MUMU as a hedge on Sol, because if Sol would pump like 5-10% in a day or two, MUMU would go like 20-30%, but then we would also violently swing the other way. And so there was always, it's just, I expect us to be able to pull off the same kind of chart movement that we did before, because it's always the bulls buying it up, and then on those red days the bears come out, and it's just funny to see.
So a little bit of an update here. We are now at 4.4% or so. It does seem like 4.4% has been migrated since we started this call. I have it here pulled up on the live stream. You could just see all of the migrations flooding in. There's about 1 per minute over the last 30 minutes or so. So it seems like people are starting to wake up and migrate. And this is really a good start, like I said, especially for a more of a decentralized community, because there is a significant amount of supply that's either lost or locked on exchanges or whatnot. And so this sets up a good opportunity for what's called like a migration squeeze, which happens somewhat often. And basically what it just means is as tokens get locked up, the float decreases, right? Because you have supply that's lost forever, but now you have 4.5% as of now that's locked for next week. So as traders come in, or people who come in to buy and migrate, or people to speculate, sometimes you'll see this like violent upwards movement where the token will pump, multiple X's. If you look at like the Michi chart, it went up, I think it was like 10X in the last day. If you look at like the UU chart, the unicorn team who just migrated, they went from 300K to
the Cosmos coin.
Yep. Yeah, they went from I think 300K when they started their migration, or when they announced the migration. I think they ended around like 2.5 mil or so.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
So you guys can actually migrate like Binance? I didn't even realize that UWU was the one from Cosmos. That's actually
It was on Cosmos, yeah, and all the
What the
tokens are inaccessible though.
Yeah.
If you never claimed them.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
This one was
that's not your guys' fault though. It's the UWU guys' fault, because they weren't really as clear as they probably should have been.
Yeah, they that one was a unique one because they had like bridged some of their supply over to Solana, so we were able to migrate the Solana tokens, and we basically came up with an agreement to them. They had 15 billion of their supply bridged over to Solana, but their total supply was 69 billion. So basically we unlocked the difference. I think it ended up being like 70% of the supply or something of that nature coming in. And so once the migration was over, then we gave it to them and they airdropped it to the community or distributed it in some sort of sign up method that they had implemented.
Basically, yeah, I'm a large Remilia asset holder. I never even claimed mine because I just didn't want to mess with Cosmos, but mine just basically got burned into the ether. But yeah, no, that one is very interesting. And I know a lot of my friends did make good money on it.
Yeah, we see all kinds of unique situations. We like to say Migrate Fund is kind of like, it's like a business relocation service or something like real estate. You're getting a whole community moving from one place to another, but more importantly, you're taking the actual company and moving it from one ecosystem to another, right? So it's something of like, if you're moving your business across the city or across the country, or in Bobo's case, right, you're moving across continents from Ethereum to Solana. And basically our system is created an automated way and clean way to basically take everything inside of that business or everything inside of that house, which are the token holders and the contract address and everything, and go ahead and move it over to a new location. We like to say that, not only are migrations bullish, but they're just, they're intuitive to the human experience. Like, how many people live in the same exact house their entire life? Like, it's very rare. And most businesses also do not exist in one location. They're either, right, you have some places that have a brick and mortar store, or they have multiple brick and mortar stores, or you have, an online website, and then there's an app, and there's all these different things. And similar, we're seeing that similar in crypto. Is crypto such a fast and moving place? Things are always changing, systems are always getting upgraded, and I don't think, we don't think that one token should probably live in the same place forever. I mean, maybe you can, but you want to be in the best position possible for whatever the kind of reasons are that you're looking for. And migrations are really starting to give that light bulb moment to these communities as we kind of continue to build out the product for all of these different options. I'll check and see if I see any questions or anything like that to answer. I haven't seen any really in the live stream yet, so it seems like people are pretty much understand how everything is, how everything works, and people are migrating now, which is pretty good. So
if anybody has questions or wants to come on stage, just raise your hand or whatever, and we'll get you up here if you have questions.
We also have a I don't know how to pin this to the space, but we have an art contest started, $2,000 up in prizes for the before launch. But basically, if you are a MUMU artist, or if you want to make some new art, poster stuff, where we are awarding and looking for the best MUMU meme artists out there. We've always been really big on the art for MUMU. Like, we were one of the first art tokens, really. And we've had a lot of guys, everyone from animators to video makers to like artists that do all their own tributes, like make stuff in the past. And most of the time we're pretty good about awarding you if you make good stuff. So, like, check it out.
Sweet.
Yeah, we love artists. We love artists. I'm definitely big into art scene as far as NFTs and all that stuff goes, as is Trancy. He was definitely big on the Solana side. Shout out to Get Low down below. And a lot of the old community members. We definitely do love the art.
Yeah, we do. Chris, do you have any questions for MUMU team?
No, I think they're crushing it. I think migrations have only existed in a bear market. So we launched like about 9 months ago. And coincidentally enough, Solana's had 9 straight monthly candles, or 8 straight monthly candles. So I like the teams are just kind of getting their house in order, getting everything prepared for the next phase of the market when it actually does return. And I think that you're just going to see like a huge resurgence in these memes that actually do it well. Sure, there's going to be some people that take advantage of the system, but they could have already done that. If you want to rug a token, there's nothing that anyone can do to prevent it. But I think the ones that really do it well or have the potential to stand out like exponentially. And so I want to see MUMU up there. I want to see Michi up there. I want to see all these OG memes just come back and really just show that they have been working for the past year. And I think it shows in the art that you guys do. I stumbled across your guys' TikTok. You had some good videos on there. You kind of revived that a little bit. And I just think that the future is bright for MUMU as long as you guys kind of continue to grind. But I don't see you guys giving up. I like the effort.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I don't know, but yeah, that's also if you are a TikTok maker, or like you exist on the content side, I'd love to talk to you. Because we also have like a ton of plushies and merch and other things that we're going to deploy at live events. One of the things, if you were an ex-MUMU holder that saw all the crazy pumps that we had in the past, like, we always pumped off of a live event experience. I think it was like Bitcoin Nashville was when one of our teammates were like debuting the plushie, and then ran into like some whales, and some whiff guy aped 2 million in one clip and started us straight to 200 million. And then another time when we were at Breakpoint Singapore, we were running around plushies, and that was when we first went to 100 million again after dipping all the way down like 10. And then the third time was when we hit an all-time high at the Binance Dubai conference, and CZ's wife was pictured with MUMU, and so it was kind of you kind of see this stuff happen. So our street team is something that we have people all around the world like wanting to push this stuff, and if you want to get involved with that kind of stuff, we love to hear it.
Nobody can match our street team. Absolutely not. They can't.
It's important for community. I pinned up to the top the Stampede group chat, almost up to 100 people. So if you're in the community, you're probably going to want to go ahead and join that. I see a lot of people communicating. You can also plan around the migration itself. So I would join that if you want to be a part of the MUMU community. I'm trying to think if there's any other kind of technical questions. I think a lot of people are really kind of familiar with it, but to just summarize, you migrate your token now, and before June 8th, you'll receive your token at a 1-to-1 ratio. When the migration ends on the 8th, the protocol, Migrate Fund protocol, takes a snapshot of all of the wallet addresses that held a MUMU token at the time. Obviously, it's going to be a lot here. So that once that sell happens, once we take all the MUMU tokens and sell them, when all those community members come flooding in asking what happened, their wallet address has been included in the snapshot already. So all they have to do is go into the claim portal with that wallet that's in the snapshot, and they just migrate their tokens. Same exact place people go to claim. Our system automatically reads the wallet if it was included in the snapshot. So it's a really simple kind of process. I know a lot of people kind of like will panic sell their tokens because they saw that the thing went down. But if you're in the snapshot, that's like your max allocation. So you can always buy them back if you're in the snapshot. But there is a system to it where the snapshot's taken before the sell period itself. So there's no real way, at least I guess not of today, to game the system. We do see people trying to do it all the time, but we put a lot of safety mechanisms in place. This is why with most centralized exchanges, they will actually pause deposits and withdrawals since it is off chain. So like the CoinX announcement today says that they have paused they're pausing withdrawals and deposits tomorrow. So there's no way to basically get in or out of these exchanges before the migration to do different types of arbitrage strategies, although I know people will definitely try. And then during that 90-day claim period, so from June 8th to whatever it is, September 8th, there's going to be a penalty that's assigned. I believe it's 10 or 15%. So don't wait. I know the majority of people who migrate will migrate in the first 48 hours or really kind of the last 48 hours because they want to see what happens. But don't wait and forget, or else you're going to be paying a penalty or
can
a
you
fee.
guys tell us about the Bobo launch and how that liquidity rush happened in their space? Because I am seeing a lot of Bobo PFPs join the chat, and so I'm kind of curious, like to hear, and they must know something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So with the Bobo migration, I think they went from like 30% to like 42 or 43% in the last 24 hours, right? So that's that like last rush at the end. There was also a pump. I think the token went from like 5 million to 7 million. But remember, their liquidity pool was $1 million. So it was actually a significant amount of volume there. And although a little bit of a different process, right? Because they migrated from ETH to Solana. The intensity was actually quite large. So when they announced their migration, the token was at 4 million. I think it ran all the way up to like 25 mil after the relaunch. And it's generally because the community is so loud on the timeline that everyone starts looking into it. And then, right, if the token is pumping, because the team has a soul treasury, essentially after you launch, if you have 1,000 or 2,000 soul, you can basically put a portion of that into the chart to gain more attention on pump fund. So you could have this really kind of, violently upwards, or volatile trajectory, which obviously attracts a lot of the traders on chain. who are looking for these tokens, right? More so that they're just looking for volume. And then it's more just the community kind of staying loud. So I'm assuming that if they're hopping in there, I know there's like a crossover between MUMU and Bobo with like how the marketing is. But we are starting to see some of these meme coin communities really starting to all, work together in unison for these migrations. I think it's actually quite exciting.
Yeah, there was a time Mumu Mumu Soul and Bobo ETH were at war for like the first 2 months. I remember launching. I think we took turns getting each other's accounts banned, and like there was all types of, there was all types of stuff that happened in the past, but now we're cool. We did like a launch on an NFT at Magic Eden a long time ago, but
we did a big space with David too.
Yeah,
and Rect and all them.
Another Rect is like the original artist of Bobo from like our finance or biz finance, and a lot of us were there making art. It wasn't like, but he was publicly posting from the same username, which, kudos to him. A lot of the guys on our side also were early artists, but just didn't have credits. We did file for a trademark like 2 years ago, so like technically our team does own the MUMU IP, and we've been building and making products for MUMU for a long time. And I think it's interesting because a lot of these legacy memes, because they've had such big communities, they built like their whole community as a token holder. They're some of the best endemic brands to be marketing anything in crypto, especially on the Solana side, because I'm seeing it, and I know other teams have seen this, is where like people will be just wanting MUMU's attention to like promote their stuff, because there's always like a lot of like endemic following on the MUMU endeavors or whatever. And so like we're trying to partner with good builders. Like in the past, we had this philosophy, and one of our big supporters, his name was the Solstice. He was handling a lot of the direction last time because he had bought so much. Like this guy had put like 2 million into the chart at the beginning, and he was like, we need to be like WIF. WIF went to like $4, and there was like 4 billion. And so being a pure meme, and so we refused a lot of opportunities. Like a lot of different teams like that are involved in Bonk now came to us with like games and casinos and trading bots, and I think we're more inclined these days to partner with tech teams that want to use the MUMU brand for promote like a good product. We're not going to refuse anybody that's building cool shit, but just be honorable, and we'll do background checks and everything.
We were one of the first teams to partner with Toshi.bet as well, before they like really blew up in the space. We used to do spaces with them a lot. That one we saw that pretty early on. We partnered with Metatope, a lot of other companies for different endeavors, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah. Portals, what's it called? Metaplex, Soul Sniper that was acquired by Phantom, Magic Eden. We were the first tokens that was ever featured on Moonshot. They actually paid us to do a promo with Sophie Max, which was funny when, back when nobody knew what Moonshot was. And so there's just been, MUMU's done a lot of cool shit. We've even made another token called Bull, like their key marketing piece. I remember I didn't know what it was, and they asked us to like, hey, we'll give the MUMU team some supply to push this thing, and then all of a sudden
I definitely wasn't involved in that shit.
Yeah.
I think we should not bring that up because you don't want me to talk about that one.
Okay, let's not bring it up.
So what do you guys
colorful history is part of the lore, dude. This is lore building right here.
That's funny.
So if you guys think about, a few months from now, more meme coins are migrating over to Pump. The community is all over there. What is like the next, era of meme coins? Is it like, applications within the communities? Obviously, everyone tries to keep the culture and tokens pure of complexity, but it does seem like different communities are coming out with like staking programs or moving to, different ecosystems. What is, the next chapter for meme coins?
I think the memes are never going to die. I mean,
yeah. Also,
you want to take this one?
No, go ahead. Well, no, there's two sides. Like the meme side, when your meme is trending, your narrative is trending. From MUMU, it's the bull run. It's when people are bullish, they always seem to buy, like MUMU just starts spiking whenever the term bull is trending. And so that's one piece of like the velocity that MUMU has. The other side of it that we want to try out is bringing some utility to stabilize the token price and keep people more invested and keep staying longer. Because I know that talking to different teams like Giga, Ponke, et cetera, they have built more incentives for long-term holders. And I think that's a really good precedence. If you're an OG team and you've had people holding for 2 years, like they should be rewarded. And so, you know what? We want to build this cult of believers as like we used to, and just buy and let number go up technology work. And, you should be rewarded.
Yeah, that's true. I think we're just in a much different environment than we used to be. So the thing that speaks most to these people, they're using a lot of tools now that we didn't have when we were on Ethereum or just moving on to Solana. Now they're using Axiom, or they're using Photon for scanners. Like they're seeing volume movements that aren't just based off of volume bots and stuff of that nature. Yes, narrative is great. Love narrative. We created probably one of the funniest narratives on crypto Twitter as a personality in general, if you really go back to it. But I mean, it's just being like constant, consistent, and coming up with different strategies that are going to catch publicity or ping those trackers and stuff of that nature, and just making good partnerships, I think, is going to be the way that things really move forward, especially being in this AI bubble where everybody thinks they're going to invest in the next big penny stock, more or less. They're like, oh yeah, it's going to be the next big AI thing. It's like, no, dude, 95% of these companies are going to fail. I understand that it's cool right now, but memes are never going to die. People will always love memes. Technically, even Bitcoin is a meme.
Yeah, that's what everyone kind of likes to say. Maybe we'll wrap it up here unless there's any specific questions about it. I think we did cover it. It does seem like people are starting to really show up for the migrations. Obviously, it just started a few hours ago, and we're at 4.5%. Yeah, 4.5% has been migrated now. Going to continue getting close to 100 migrators and grinding upwards. Again, if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to the Migrate Fund account. Anybody on the Migrate team has an Emblem Vault badge, like everyone here on stage. Please be careful of scammers. There are tons of them out there. We will never DM you. The same thing, but please do not fall prey to those people. Only one website, migrate.fund. It's also, if you're uncertain, it's posted in one of the MUMU posts as well as on migrate.fund. The migration will continue to run the first period for a week to get one-to-one redemptions. CoinX and Mexi have confirmed that they are supporting the migration. So if you have tokens on those exchanges, they will be migrated on your behalf, but there will be like a 1 to 2 week delay per those exchanges' own procedures and policies. The MUMU team will continue, posting. The 90-day claim period starts next week, and you can still late migrate there. There's a snapshot that's taken of all the people who missed the migration. So expect that once that red candle hits next week, a bunch of people flooding into the chat asking what the fuck happened, and you can just tell them to go migrate, and they'll feel very relieved. MUMU team, I'll pass it off to you guys if there's like any kind of final statements that you'd like to note here before we do wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of covered everything. So hopefully we can kind of bring the vibes back, man. I mean, I do a lot of Twitter spaces every day from my other account. Just stay safe, stay liquid, and let's bring the bull back, baby.
Grab the bull by the horns, my friends. Appreciate everyone who showed up. A really good turnout. Hundreds of people on the live stream, hundreds of people in the space, hundreds of people migrating. That'll be the trend. Everyone have a good rest of your week, and we'll see everyone here on Thursday. We'll be hosting a spaces with another team who's going to be announcing their migration today. Until then, see you guys soon.
Later, guys.